Hello guys, it's CheddaBean, and welcome back to the next phase of my journey to beat the Titanfall 2 campaign without shooting a gun. Videos like these take a long time for me to edit, and I am sorry that there was a long wait between parts 1 and 2. However, if you subscribe to the channel, you will be notified when I post the finale of this challenge, as well as other great Titanfall 2 content. Now then, onto the video. Previously, in part 1, we beat the first 2 levels of the campaign, including the first major boss, Kane. We picked up the tone loadout for our Titan, which we never use. Now, we begin the next level, Into the Abyss. At the very beginning, I picked up and then immediately equipped the Scorch loadout, which made the game monumentally easier as a Titan. Scorch's loadout is designed around crowd control and high damage via gas traps and fire explosions. Since we haven't had a good method of crowd control before, Scorch was pretty useful. After dunking on 3 Titans at once with my flame core, I picked up the Brute loadout, and then BT asked me to raise a cargo lift for his shortcut to the rendezvous point with Major Anderson. A few dead grunts later, I activated the cargo lift, which for some reason backfired and snatched BT away from me, pulling him into the abyss. After watching him flail around like a helpless little bitch, I decided I might as well join him in the depths of hell and jump down after him. Enter the Abyss, or as I like to call it, Ash's Purgatory. The gimmick with this level is that I am following an assembly line as it builds these structures. Surprisingly, I can avoid pretty much all of the grunts by focusing on following the assembly line, which is news to me because when I first played the campaign, I felt obliged to kill all of the enemies here. A few hops, skips, and or cloaks later, I eventually made it past the areas with enemies with barely any significant trouble. I rode the assembly for a while, just kinda watching everything move around. Not gonna lie, for a death factory, the ride was pretty scenic and chill. Eventually, some pieces start to be put together on the wall, with the piece I was riding included among them. Then, Ash's voice comes on the speaker, telling me to ascend.
There is only one way out, pilot. Up.
After reaching the top, I listen to Ash, who tells me to hitch a ride on a platform to the simulation dome.
Pilot, you made it all this way alive. Unfortunately for you, there is only one way out. Step onto the moving platform. Well done, pilot. I will take it from here.
Loading scenario 127 in Dynamic Simulation Dome 314.
Now, we shall see how impressive you truly are.
Delivering militia test subjects.
In this part of the level, my goal is to kill the enemies in the simulation while staying alive. Surprisingly enough, this didn't prove to be too challenging. I was initially scared of the Reapers that I knew were going to spawn in, but I could kill each Reaper with just 2 frag grenades, so they weren't too much of an issue. Eventually, I was able to escape the simulation dome and plunge deeper underground. After waiting for my game to load, I spent more time than I would have liked to admit doing some hardcore parkour and avoiding ticks. Eventually, I saw my good old pal BT and decided to plunge inside of him. That was a bad joke. I used my beloved Scorch loadout to shred a few Titans as I entered the Ash fight with full health, a full core, and some MLG gamer energy. I'll just let you guys watch what happened.
West is put a high price on your head, pilot. Dead or alive, that makes you worth something to me. Let us begin.
After roasting that bitch like a fish fillet, I got the hell out of this underground hellhole and proceeded to the next level. Cause and effect, the next level is one of the coolest levels in the campaign, which involves the use of instantaneous time travel with this Ben 10 looking ass wrist device. Unfortunately for you guys, the instant time travel meant instantly ignoring enemies, so there isn't much interesting gameplay wise to show you, except for at the end of the level. Through the use of stopping time or some shit, I was able to scan the Ark, which is the power source for the bootleg Death Star in Titanfall 2. After scanning it, I had to let the rest of the militia know about it, so I proceeded to the next level.
Our journey is far from over.
At the start of the next level, I learned that the beacon I need to use to contact the militia is in shittier shape than the mental health of Spitfire campers. I picked up a big sword, also known as the Ronin loadout, and used it to make some stalker sushi at the front entrance. After the doors were safe to open, I learned that the beacon tried to upgrade to the free version of Windows 10 but then it backfired because the Wi-Fi ran out. In other words, it's in pretty shitty shape and it lost power. The first step to restarting the beacon was to locate the Arc tool to jumpstart the power. I had to do some parkour and ignore some enemies, until I got to this section. I got confused on where I was supposed to go, until I realized that the only way I could progress was to kill some stalkers, which aren't fun to deal with without guns. After killing off most of the stalkers, I did a few hops and shit and then eventually I located the Arc tool. As you can see, it is required to fire the Arc tool to progress through the level, so a lot of you are probably curious about whether or not the challenge is still possible. In my opinion, I believe the challenge is still possible because the Arc tool has tool in its name, so I'm not counting it as a gun, even if you can shoot stuff with it. However, since you can kill enemies with it, I won't do that because I'd consider that cheating if you are using it as a gun, rather than a tool.
Opening the hatch in 3, 2, 1, go!
After some high-octane gameplay of me shooting green things and turning them red, I was able to restore the beacon's energy. We started powering up the beacon in the control room, and realized just how fucked we actually were when it reached 90% and then just decided to just kinda explode or something.
Warning, full capacity, the military shut down.
Long story short, the Uplink Module is offline, so I was tasked with the responsibility of getting a replacement. The first step to reaching the Uplink Module was to actually get over there since it was so far away. However, BT came up with a solution.
My scans detect a functioning uplink targeting module, 428 meters northeast. My analysis indicates a throw is our only option here. I can throw you across the gap.
Are you sure about this?
There is a 68% chance of success. Wind, 3 knots, heading 274. Range, 95 meters. Projectile mass, 89 kilograms. Trust me.
He missed. One extra cutscene later, I made it into the area where the Uplink Module is. This section wasn't particularly hard, but I spent more time than I'd like to admit trying not to use the cranes so that I could feel cool. After ignoring some more enemies, the dish where the module was held came into my view. In order to reach it, I had to rotate it, which managed to get the attention of nearly every bad guy, including some Russian sounding dude named Richter. After nearly getting flattened like a pancake by some Reaper that just happened to be falling out of the sky, I secured the Uplink Module. I shredded some minions with BT and then got tossed halfway up the beacon by our best bud. After making it to the top, I replaced the module and this happened.
Got you.
I inserted the module and was informed that the beacon works now, so I started heading back to base. However, I was rudely interrupted by Richter happening to land on top of me.
Care to have a real fight? Let's see what you got up close and personal. Oder willst du weglaufen, wie ein kleiner Junge?
Of course this shitter uses tone. Why wouldn't he? My first attempt I got lit up, but considering how I only had 1 bar of health, I figured as much. When I had triple the health my second time around, this guy went down no problem. All I had to do was swing my big sword and then switch to tone for the salvo quarter top tier bullshit this guy into dying. With that concludes part 2 of this challenge. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for the finale, where some real shit goes down. Till then, I'll see you guys next time.